What's up, everybody? It's your boy Cameron Abbott, the unsexiest comedian that you know and the man whose face was built for radio. What's up, everybody? This is your boy Cameron Abbott, the unsexiest comedian that you know and the man whose face was built for radio. I'm here by myself right now. Hopefully, we'll be seeing one Mr. Duggar soon, Chandler. He should be on his way soon. So we're just going to kick things off with the oh, don't have the camera on yet. Let me fix that real quick here. Boom! What's up? How's everybody doing? I'm actually going to go ahead and minimize that so that way I'm not distracted by that. Hey, everybody, what's up? Unsexiest comedian that you know and the man whose face was built for radio. Here hosting the Knotty Gamers Spoilercast for the Division. Just wanted to kind of nail a few house cleaning notes here. Let's go ahead and yes. So if you have any questions, comments, concerns, anything like that, you can go ahead and tweet at me at unsexiestcomedy or the podcast itself at Knotty Gamers. You can also submit it in the chat as well as email us over at contact@knottygamers.com. With things coming up in April, things are going to be going a lot faster. We're going to be putting out a lot more content. Something that we're really happy with is that we actually have we have a couple of projects in the pipeline with a lot of content that we're ready to really push out once we have it all really finalized. The important part about this, though, is that I just want to make sure that I communicate with you, the viewer, and anybody who is a Knotty Gamer fan. We here at Knotty Gamers, we are really dedicated towards really building a strong, central pillar in the community as far as getting our voice out there, as far as the way we see our voice needing to be out there in response to, if you listen to the podcast, you know that, it's mostly us talking about gaming news, relating gaming information, really kind of taking in the zeitgeist of the current gaming culture as it's going on right now. We cover not just gaming culture, but nerd culture in general. We touch on a lot of things, but really video games is really what we're centered at. Up on the website right now, we have a review of Laser Team, a film by Rooster Teeth. So we are going to kind of dip into the foray. I also have a review of Digimon Story Cyber Sleuth up right now at knottygamers.com. It does not have a score yet. And the reason for that is because we are not yet prepared to start scoring our reviews. We're still in the works of kind of refining that review process and really deciding what is going to make our review process separate itself from other review processes. And a big part of that is immersion, gameplay. The way that a game feels is that a game should take priority. It should kind of take you into the game and take you out of whatever reality is going on around you. That's kind of the immersion concept. It's also known as the suspense of disbelief. Although you know that you're playing a game, you feel like you're doing something. You feel like you're there. It's a very interactive medium, and video games do that in a way that no other medium can. It's why VR is the quote-unquote holy grail, because of what VR could do to bring immersion really to the forefront. Immersion is really just one factor of what we look at when we review video games here at Knotty Gamers. You'll hear us talk about the Division in depth with a lot of detail and information here about our immersion process with it, what took us out of it, as well as a lot of other factors. And because we're not finalized with that process, it's unfair to kind of retroactively go back and give a review if we already gave a review on something just because we changed our criteria. So in order to make sure we don't do that, we don't, kind of conflict ourselves, we are really just dedicated to the idea right now, just telling you how we feel about a video game and whether or not we feel like if you're into this, you should buy it or you should definitely play this. So that's just one thing I wanted to get out because I'm sure people who've been on the website have noticed that. Another thing that I want to talk about is the new site content. We're going to be putting out a lot more video content in the coming month. We're talking about everything from board game Let's Plays to some possibility of some alternative type of media content that normally isn't the atypical content that you normally see from us, or at least from a site you hear called Knotty Gamers. So we're really excited for that. We're just really kind of in the cultural zeitgeist as far as nerd culture, internet culture is concerned. And, we're just a small part of that. We're trying to build a bigger soapbox. And that's really what something like tonight is about. So while I'm waiting on hearing back from Chandler about exactly where he's at, we're going to go ahead and just roll right into some other news. So some interesting facts here are that, we've not been idle. We've been playing a lot of video games, and Chandler and I are actually in the process of reviewing some games, but we also have previewed some games. For those who aren't aware, Smite, it's an MMO, basically a third-person shooter type MMO, actually. Not necessarily shooter, sorry. That's the wrong way to actually talk about Smite. Smite, instead of being a top-down kind of a Dota strategy game set up with the way your viewpoint is while you're playing a MOBA, rather than do that, they actually go for third-person, and a lot of things are actually based on skill. So in order to do a skill, you have to make sure that you're lining up your line of sight. There are gods. So Smite is an MMO where gods do battle. And what that means is that you have people like Ra, who is an eagle-headed spellcaster who uses the power of the sun, versus somebody like Odin, who is a spear-wielding melee fighter who has some crowd control, basically. Just abilities, very unique abilities, actually. Probably a better comparison would be Thor. Thor uses a hammer, has a bunch of abilities that he has, and then also can wreck house with his mighty Mjolnir. So Smite is a game that is really picking up steam. They recently put themselves out on the PS4 as far as a beta is concerned. They've been out on the Xbox, I think, for over a year now, Xbox One. They had an exclusive with that for a period of time. And now it's moved over to PS4. I actually snagged a beta code very early on in the beta. They've made a lot of changes to it since I started. I play it at least I try to play it every couple of days just to see what changes they've made, how they've tweaked some things, how the controls feel. Playing it on a PlayStation controller versus a mouse and keyboard as how I've traditionally played Smite, because I have played the game before, really kind of pulls an interesting kind of a chord, because it feels like the same game, but at the same time it feels a little bit different because I'm using a console controller. I like it. So far, so good. I'll have a much more in-depth preview about it. We will not review it because we do not want to review a beta. If it's a beta, if we get early access to something, we will not review it. We will preview it because that has not actually launched yet. Smite, of course, is free to play with free rotations, and then you can buy, make purchases for other gods and whatnot. That's going to be typical. You saw it on the Xbox One. They did that same way. They did it the same way. We're probably going to see it be done on the PS4 the same way. The unlock all gods option is already available on the PS4 in the beta, so that looks great. There's a lot more I can say, but I'm really going to put that into a preview for the viewers or readers out there. So about reviews, though. So like I said in the review for Digimon Cyber Sleuth, I'm still, wading my way through. Not going to lie, The Division did nothing to help me getting through more of Digimon. I'm still going to be putting up a review score for that later. But I actually don't think that, from what I've played more of it, I don't feel like the score is going to change as far as my opinion on the game, which, if you read it, was fairly positive. Really have a good fascination with the game. It's very much a lot of fun, which is not a proper way of saying this, but it's a lot of fun. I had a lot of fun with the game. So you can read up the review on knottygamers.com right now if you want. So moving on, I am just waiting on this. So we're actually going to take a small break here, mostly because I don't want to dig into The Division too much. If all else fails, I guess this is just a live cast of episode 7 as a solo cast, or maybe we'll call it a 6.5. we will get back to you soon on that matter. Just going to take a short break. So that's the cut from the regular episode to where we are at with the other one. So hopefully I've gone back from Chandler. Hey, what's up, everybody? Thank you so much for that break. We finally got some things figured out. Turns out there were some technical difficulties on the side of one Chandler Duggar, in that there was some communication breakdown because apparently a lot of my communication back to him didn't get to him. So, unfortunately, we will not be doing a totally live cast, but it will still be a live cast where I'm bringing in Chandler right now to the chat here, getting this all taken care of. Once we get this going, we'll go ahead and yeah. Oh, I should turn this back on. Hey, yeah. Once we get things taken care of and Chandler's on the chat, we'll go ahead and get started on the division cast. Sorry for anybody who's been watching, which is actually nobody that's been watching so far. Shame on you. Shame on you. Okay, so putting this out here, let me do this. Oi. Oh.
Can you hear me?
Ooh. Hold on a second there.
Okay.